Hey, you. Ever been caught in the swirl of office gossip? Or maybe even been the one doing the swirling?
It happens a lot.
Totally. So today on the deep dive, we're tackling this super common workplace thing, office gossip.
Hmm.
We're going to break down what's really going on when we talk about others at work. From those chats that seem harmless
Right, the bonding stuff.
to the stuff that can actually cause some real damage.
Yeah, understanding this can seriously help you navigate your own work life, build stronger connections.
And maybe even make your workplace a little less dramatic.
Hopefully. Exactly. It's not just about who said what. Office gossip, it tells us a lot about the unwritten rules, the overall vibe of a workplace.
Okay.
So we'll look at why it happens, what it reflects about the company culture, and maybe most importantly, how understanding it can give you a bit of an edge professionally.
Okay, so let's define it first. When
Yeah.
we say office gossip, what are we actually talking
Mhm.
about? Is it just like any chat by the water cooler?
Not quite, not really. At its heart, office gossip is informal talk about colleagues when they're not actually there.
Right.
And this can cover, well, pretty much everything from chatter about someone's new project to more personal stuff sometimes.
Right, and sometimes it just feels like people connecting, doesn't it? Sharing a bit of news, maybe?
That's definitely one side of it.
Yeah.
Sharing stories can absolutely help people bond, feel like they're part of the team. It's, a way we build relationships, find common ground.
But then, yeah,
Yeah.
the tone can shift pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Suddenly it feels less about connecting and more about rumors or negative stuff.
And that's where it gets tricky when gossip turns negative, like spreading unverified information or just talking badly about someone behind their back.
Mm-hmm.
It can become really toxic. It definitely damages trust in relationships.
So why is this such a go-to thing in so many offices? What's driving it?
Well, what's fascinating here, I think, is that office gossip often pops up when there are underlying issues at play.
Like what kind of issues?
Think about it. If people feel uncertain about their jobs, maybe the future of the company, or if they feel like they don't have much say, gossip can become a way to try and make sense of things. It's almost like an informal intelligence network.
That's a really good point. If you're not getting the info officially, you might try to piece things together through the grapevine, right?
Precisely. And a huge piece of this puzzle is how management communicates or doesn't communicate.
Ah.
If leaders aren't open and upfront, that information void, well, it can get filled pretty quickly with speculation. And that speculation often turns into gossip.
So it's like information vacuums are kind of a petri dish for rumors.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah. When the official channels are silent, informal, and often inaccurate narratives they grow.
So a kind of closed-off leadership style almost encourages rumors to take root then.
It really can, yeah. Now think about workplaces where things feel different, maybe places where there's more open communication, where people generally trust each other and feel respected.
Yeah.
You tend to hear a lot less gossip in those kinds of environments. It's noticeable.
So what are some of the things those more positive workplaces do differently? What are the key ingredients for a less gossipy culture?
Well, one key element is making sure team meetings are genuinely inclusive.
Okay. Inclusive how?
Meaning environments where everyone feels like their voice actually matters, that they're kept in the loop. When that happens, the need to rely on those informal gossip channels really drops off.
Because people are getting information directly.
And feeling connected.
Exactly. They feel heard, they feel informed, so they're less likely to go digging for info through whispers.
That makes total sense.
And leadership, of course, plays a huge role here. Leaders who consistently act respectfully, who deal with conflicts openly and fairly, they set a really positive example for everyone else.
Right. But on the flip side, if the people in charge are gossiping themselves, or maybe just avoiding tough conversations, yeah, that unfortunately sends a signal that that kind of behavior is, well, maybe okay, or even the norm, and it can really make the problem much worse.
How does the way people actually work together impact this? Is it better to be super collaborative or more competitive?
Collaboration definitely helps reduce negative gossip. When people are genuinely working together towards shared goals, they're usually less likely to focus on negativity or get caught up in personal drama. Their energy is directed towards the project, right? Not towards picking apart colleagues.
And I guess celebrating team successes would also boost morale and maybe reduce the urge to gossip too.
Absolutely. Regularly recognizing and celebrating what the team accomplishes together builds trust and just general good feelings. It shifts the focus away from individual issues or rivalries and onto shared wins.
Okay, so we've looked at what gossip is, the kind of workplace that either fuels it or keeps it in check. What about, our own experiences? Have you ever seen how a rumor can really play out?
Oh, definitely. You can probably think of a time maybe when a false rumor started going around about a colleague possibly getting transferred.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
It creates all this unnecessary stress and uncertainty, and not just for that person, but for the whole team. People start wondering how things might change.
That sounds incredibly disruptive.
Yeah.
So how do you even begin to deal with something like that if a rumor starts?
Often the most effective way is actually just to communicate directly and openly, if possible.
Just address it head on?
Yeah. Talking to the people involved, getting the real facts out there. It can stop misunderstandings from spiraling.
That can be tough, though, can it? To
Yeah.
confront a rumor like that, what are some more general things maybe you can do if you find yourself in a gossipy situation?
Yeah, it's not always easy. A good tactic is often just to try and gently change the subject. If a conversation starts heading down a gossipy path,
Mm-hmm.
try to steer it back to work-related topics or maybe just something more neutral, more positive.
And I suppose just being careful about what you share in the first place is pretty key, too.
Oh, absolutely. Being mindful of the potential impact of your words and just choosing to share information responsibly is so important. Ultimately, it's about treating your colleagues with respect and professionalism in all your interactions.
It's interesting to think about how remote work might have changed this whole dynamic, too.
It really is, with fewer of those spontaneous, in-person chats by the coffee machine or whatever.
Yeah, the casual bumping into people.
Exactly. Some of that casual, maybe off-the-cuff gossip has probably decreased.
But has it created any new communication challenges, do you think?
I think it has. Without those nonverbal cues you get in person,
Yeah.
facial expressions, body language, it's definitely easier for misunderstandings to happen in online communication, like email or chat.
Right. You can't read the tone as easily.
Precisely. And if those misunderstandings aren't clarified quickly, they could potentially lead to new kinds of rumors or negative assumptions. Without those subtle cues, it's just easier for misinterpretations to take root.
So clear and direct communication is still crucial, maybe even more crucial in a remote or hybrid setup.
Absolutely. And, ultimately, it's really on all of us to shape the kind of work environment we have.
It's not just up to the bosses then.
Yeah.
It's everyone.
Not at all. Every single conversation, every interaction contributes to the culture. By choosing to communicate openly, respectfully, we can all help build a workplace where trust thrives and where gossip becomes less of a factor.
Kind of focusing on lifting each other up instead.
That's a perfect way to put it, focusing on building each other up rather than engaging in negativity.
So, okay, to sum things up a bit, office gossip is definitely complex. It can be about social connection, sure, but it often reflects these deeper issues in the workplace culture itself.
Mm-hmm.
And building a positive environment where people feel informed, respected, valued, that seems key to minimizing the negative sides of gossip.
Exactly. And we all play a part in that. Fostering that kind of open, trusting culture takes conscious effort from everyone involved.
So maybe something for you, the listener, to think about. Consider your own workplace for a second. What are some small ways you could potentially encourage more open communication and maybe less reliance on gossip?
It's a good question to reflect on.
Definitely something to consider. And hey, if you found this deep dive helpful or interesting, please do like, share, and subscribe for more insights into navigating your work life and understanding the dynamics around you.